providing a stable platform and they're not providing assistance to the top person, because this is no place for leverage. They would need to be here, straight up and down and solid, close enough that they can apply leverage. I don't even have to tell you what skill they're doing. Okay, that principle applies all the way through. So as a coach, look for those things. Something's going wrong, go, okay, don't just go like, well, it just keeps falling over here, so don't go that way. Well, that's not coaching. It needs to be, all right, I'm gonna look at this. And it might be you videoing it instead of having them do it 50 times. Video it if it's the same problem over and over. Do a video of that, break it down and look at it. Coach's Eye is a great app. If you don't have it, it's worth $6 or whatever, $9 it probably costs now. It's called Coach's Eye. It allows you to frame by frame, zoom in, and do some nice things, and even split the frame so you can put one video here and another video here. So if you're having, excuse me, you can have them, for example, do their jumps at the beginning of the season, do some exercises, conditioning routine, stuff like that. Come back and do that jump again later, and you can take those two videos, put them side by side, move this one to the point where it's at the top of the toe touch, move this one at the top of the toe touch, and then play it from the beginning so it actually puts them in sync, and you can show them, look, this is how much better you've gotten because you are now lifting up through your chest and all the stuff. You can write on it, you can record your voice on it, you can then save that, and you can send it to them. So, pretty cool. But anyway, it's a great tool for you to be able to video and then go back and look. So break it down and go, okay, are my bases doing the things we talked about? If not, what do they need to do? Is my top person doing the things we talked about? If not, what do we need to do? And again, it's going to be very similar, again, from a principles standpoint, through all of those types of stunts. So the top person, their responsibility is maintaining that balance directly over the bases. And they do that by keeping their body in line, usually shoulders, hips, ankles, okay, keeping that body in line. So if they do this as they twist, they've already failed that. Either it's going to go wrong, or the bases are going to have to overcorrect in order to make it right. All right. Excuse me. Hold it. And the other thing that they need to do, and kind of goes along with this, is they need to do what's called climbing lightly. So, well, yeah, duh. All right, climbing lightly. How do they climb lightly? Climbing lightly means taking the weight off of the base, especially during the climbing phase. If I'm holding somebody, let's just call this somebody. This chair weighs the same amount of weight. I can hold it here, it's pretty easily. I can hold it here, fairly easily. I can hold it here really easily. But as soon as that thing goes out here, this is hard to hold. If I'm trying to hold somebody up and they're back there, this is automatically pulling me back. So what climbing lightly means is, don't have your weight here for as long as possible. Have your weight here as short amount of time as possible. You have to get from climbing behind to getting above fast. Climb lightly. Don't have any weight on me as you're climbing so that I'm not pulled off balance. Also, just from a physics standpoint, when I'm going up, let's just for fun say I weigh 190. I know. 260. It's a good look at 260, I'll tell you that. As I go down, that 190 doesn't weigh 190, right? Right here I weigh 190. But from here to here, I weigh more than 190, right? I have to because I'm pushing down to get up. So what I want to do is I want to do something that doesn't push down. So the first step and the first level, which we'll walk through, is I jump off the ground. If I can jump off the ground, my weight's not on that foot. In fact, it probably weighs less than 190. That allows me to get above my top person, and now my top person can hold me with much more weight than you think they can because it's balanced. But even a little weight behind me is going to be unbalanced, and it's going to move my bases around. And as soon as I move my bases around, again, everything starts going wonky. All right, so once again, our bases provide a stable platform, and they need to understand that from the very beginning. You are the earth to your top person. All right, if you stand solid, if you don't move, they can do all kinds of things. All the stuff they do on the ground, they can do on you. But as soon as you start moving underneath them, or you're just doing all this little balancing, that makes them feel weird. Imagine being in an earthquake. That's what it's like. So don't be an earthquake, be the earth. They also have to help balance that top person and assist them by pushing up through their arms or pulling them in. Those things help the top person do their job. And again, for the top person, it is keeping their balance, keeping their weight directly over the top person or over the bases, and climbing lightly. Okay, so let's go through and get the one base and a top person. We're going to do step up drills. All right, yeah, we can kind of stay back on this mat just to be farther back for people. So the first thing we're going to do, your name? Kayla is going to do a lunge. Kayla's lunge is going to be her base of support for that top person. So Kayla's lunge is important. We don't just go into a lunge. We go into a proper lunge. All right. So give me a lunge position. One of these pop. All right. So what we're looking for here is that her shoulders and hips are toward the front, her back leg is locked, and her knee is directly over the ankle. But we're looking for one more thing, and that is a level platform to stand on. Okay. So Kayla, other Kayla, with a C, or is it any different at all? No. Okay. If she stands on this leg, what's going to happen? Her foot's going to be like this. So I want base Kayla, move this back leg back just a little bit more. A little bit more, just a hair. Good. I want her to be in a deep enough lunge that now that leg isn't like this, it's like this. Now can I get all the way to here? Sure, but now we start talking about other balance issues. So it's a little bit of a compromise. Now the other thing we're looking for is this shoe is pointed that way. This shoe is pointed this way. It can be perfectly to the side, it can be a little bit in front. It's not going to be like this. But the most important thing, this one's usually not the problem, it's this other foot. If they turn that other foot out, turn this foot pointed out. Now what happens? Okay, now you fix it. Is, go ahead and stand up. Now what happens is she doesn't have that stable platform. So one foot points forward and foot points this way because this is a natural point for this one, so that she can go forward back. This is important. All right. The deeper she gets, the harder it is to balance. So again, you find that good balance point. This becomes an exercise that we do in class. This is part of our practice for our bases at the very beginning and our tops. I want everybody doing these, and they're going to do them on both sides. Right, that doesn't seem like a big exercise to me. Hold that for about 30 seconds. You start like going, things start shaking that aren't supposed to shake, right? So they need to understand how to hold that position, the knee right over the foot, back leg locked, deep enough that she can stand, hips and shoulders to the front, and stand just like that. That starts working muscles and they're like, oh wow, that starts hurting a cramp. Right, because that's not strong enough. You need to be able to hold that position. All right, so have them do that. Are you ready? Okay. Step forward just a little bit. All right, okay, come over here. Now, when she steps up, one thing, pick different people, right? One thing one thing she's gonna do is, she's gonna have this arm behind her. When she puts her foot up on the thigh, she's gonna wrap around the top of the knee. All right, she's gonna go here and hold. When she steps up, the first thing she'll do is, as she steps up and jumps, she's going to help pull up. This actually lifts the thigh up, so she's assisting the top person. Pull up and then pull in. So that it should have that foot here, then her knee straight above, so that her hips are above and everything's straight. If I don't, I let her leg out here, now it's going foot, hips. There it goes. All right, so that's your job. All right, here we go, step up. So she's gonna stand directly behind her. Hands on the shoulders. Put your right foot up as high up in the pocket as you can. You're gonna pull up and lift up through there. Your most important job that you're gonna do is you're gonna jump off the ground, push through your arms, stand straight up just like this. Ready? 1, 2, jump hard. Good. Lift up through the shoulders. Cool. Good. Hands back to the shoulders, step back down. Great. Now, as she does that, be ready for that and push against it. Okay. So, you can see that she went up and down. It was great. Big jump off the ground. That was easy, didn't move. That's not how it normally looks, right? As you're first starting with your team, that's not how that goes. All right, let's do it again. This time, don't jump off the ground. All right, so just put your weight down here and stand up. Yeah. Harder. All right, okay, hands back down and step down. Cool. All right, make sure you keep your knee up. Much harder. It looks probably a little more familiar like that, right? And if you don't have a base like her, then they're all on the ground. So the key for this, a lot of times too, we look at this and we yell at the bases. Stay tight, be strong, don't let her pull you down, be tough. It's not her fault. In most cases, it's the top person. Because if the top person doesn't do their job, the base then can't do theirs. When she jumps up and she lands like this, by that point, there's not a lot a base can do, unless they just totally get out of position. But if they're in the right position at the beginning, they're not getting pulled around to get out of position. All right, so really focus on that top person jumping off the ground and climbing lightly. And one of the things you can do is use this as a practice setting here. Either this, your little stunt stepper if you have one, but it needs to be high enough because her thigh is not this high off the ground. So from here, jump up, stand up on that chair. Good, do it again. And the thing you can do is you can video this, especially if the cushion is great. If not, you still video it. I want you to jump so hard off of there that your foot actually comes up. Good. She's pushing down a little bit to do that. So keep an eye on that. Of course, it's harder if you don't have a cushion chair because I don't want her to just transfer down and push here. I want her to push as hard as she can on that ground foot. There you go. Good. All right. So have them practice that because this is a way I can coach them and teach them and fix them without having to have it go on her 15 times. Okay. Cool. Now the other thing you have to watch for. The thing you have to watch for in this is, as soon as this didn't happen on the first one, but on the second one you might have noticed, as soon as she started climbing, she kind of like stood up a little bit and brought that knee under, because it's hard, right? And it's easier for me to stand up and balance than to stay down here and start falling. So I stand up. And as soon as she did that, what happened? Turns the ankle, she starts sliding, everything goes wrong. All right. So any questions so far on this? All right. This is where I'll also bring my spotters in. I have a spotter in the back. They need to understand how to spot and how to apply force, how to be there for the top person. All of those things happen right here as well. Okay. All right, good. Now, let's do this with two bases. Do you have another base you want to start with? Another base. Please and thank you. All right. Double base lunge to the center. So you're going to lunge left leg, you're going to lunge right leg. You're going to go ahead and see what's happening here. They can't figure out what to do with their feet. You can go ahead and cross them. And we used to say, don't ever cross your feet. Well, that ended up with her like center splits, right? So they can cross their feet because they shouldn't be moving around by this point. And if they do, again, we're down here low. We can fix these things so that they don't move. All right, give me a back spot, please. All right, here we go. So give me a lunge. Both hands on the shoulder. Put that foot high up in the thigh. Don't let them stand on top of the leg, the thigh here. It needs to be up here. But actually, there's a little pocket that's created right there. Big jump off the ground. As you come up, I want you to go straight up and then step over. So it's not going to be here. It's going to be here and then over. All right? Here we go. You can hold under the toe. 1, 2, down, up, and then over. Good. That's right. And step back down into the shoulders. All right. When she comes up, you'll do the same thing that you would have done. You've been watching me over here. When she does the step up drill, is that you will grab that leg above the knee, underneath the toe, and pull it to you. All right. So here we go again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good. All right. put your hand underneath the toe. Oh. There you go. Yeah. They can support underneath the toe right here. Turn your hand under. Turn your hand under. There you go. That way there's a platform there for them to stand on. Hands back to the shoulders and step down. Good. Okay. Stand. Y'all can stand up. I'm not a huge fan of keeping the hands on. We used to teach it that way. Then they put their foot here, and then they stand up, but that teaches them to stay over this way, and that's not a good balance position. And eventually I want them working on, just like all their skills, whenever you work on preps, you want to try to take it up, right? I want them working on techniques that they're going to be using later, which is lifting up through the shoulders. So from right here, I want them going to push off, just like they did in the step-up drill, lifting up through the shoulder, and then place that other foot over, okay? This is also the technique that they'll use when they start doing full arounds and things like that. When they do that, they don't want to come around and go, here's my foot. They want to go up and go around to here and then step over. So they keep all of their weight together, then they bring it over to the other person. So as you're doing these things, you're working on later things, all right? Speaking of later things, ground up liberty. Move forward just a little bit. All right, so what are you doing? No, go back. All right, so give me a double base thigh stand. Actually, give me the, yeah, so this will be a side thigh stand. So do your lunge to that side again. Use your inside leg. Hold on the waist. You're not going to do anything on this one. So hold above the knee and hold under the toe. You are going to jump up and go to a lib position. Okay. Now you put both hands on the shoulders because she's going to turn. Nope. Turn. There. Go. Ready? 1, 2, up, and then lib. Cool. Pull her in. Great. All right, step back down. Do that again. There we go. I knew that was coming. All right. Thank you. Again. Big jump off the ground. Bring your toe in just a little bit closer to her. Your back foot.
Forward.
There you go. Great jump. Okay. Stay right where you are. Go back to your lunge. Put your foot back up. Step out to a load position. Keep your leg right where it is. Step out to a load position. Face me. Like a load, like you're going to do a load. Go. What is she doing? She's doing the ground up liberty, but she's really doing a step in side thigh stand. All right. The same technique she's going to use when they go ahead and come in here. Grab under the foot. The same technique that they're going to use for this, I'm not going to have them do it because they haven't done it together. Just want to scare them a little bit. Is the technique that they use on that step up. All right, so that step up is important. That side thigh stand, the step up drills, those things are important because she does the exact same thing. She jumps off the ground to get above here, lifting up through her shoulders and then pulling. All right, okay, y'all can all stand up. All right. Cool. The other thing I'm gonna do right now is we're working on these. I'm gonna have my bases switch, doing the double base thigh stand. I'm gonna have my top person go to that double base thigh stand group, and I'm gonna have that top person come to this double base thigh stand group. I wanna create a culture that we all stunt together right now, because later on, they will cry when you separate bases, right? I don't want them to do that, because guess what might happen in a routine? It might be, you're my tumbler that's gonna do the whatever, and now you're over there, and now you can't be over here. And all I need is an extension. I should be able to turn any of my bases and go, you guys do the extension. Not, but I'm a left side base with Cassandra on Tuesdays. I mean, it's drama. Okay? I want them going, yes, coach. Wow. Okay? Should not be a problem. It should be like, we need to do a prep real quick, just warm up. Fine, sounds good, love that, do that. All right, and make sure you have your timing. They should already have their timing, because when I start having each of them do other side, and have the tops move, and have that base and that base turn and go here, and do things like that, because we just circle up, all right? And when I start doing that, they get all their timing together, because they have to adjust. And the other thing I like having them do is face in a circle. So this would be one stunt group here, or triangle, or if you have 8, then they're gonna face each other, whatever. So that I've got my other ones here, so that practice, go ahead and do a load, pretend you're gonna do a load. Okay, we're here like this, and we're watching each other. So it's 1, 2, and we down and in, and we watch it so that our timing is together. All right, so that the bases learn to go with our timing. That's who they should be going with. They should go with the top. But the tops all learn to go with the same timing. All right, it's one of the reasons I don't like, I like loading in with 2 feet. We're gonna do that in a minute. But I don't like them jumping up to do that, because when I jump up and you jump up, we're gonna jump up at slightly different heights. I like just going down and then in. All right, but I'll show you that in a sec. But I wanted you to see the connection between, yeah, these are stupid basic stunts, but they're important stunts because that's exactly what they're gonna do later on. And I wanted to, and I can coach them on this. If they're going up and they're not jumping off of the ground and they're going up slow in their libs, it's harder to coach, and you have a bigger chance of someone falling from a higher, position and getting more injured and things like that. That shouldn't be the case. I know people who teach gymnastics who don't ever spot. How do I go over? They make sure that they've done every single drill possible, and they have additional tools in their gym so that they're tumbling and they're doing things over mats and through equipment and using all the opportunities that they have there at the gym to have them do every part of that skill that they need, all right? So that when they get to that point, it's the exact same thing. It's the same thing here. I want them coached so well doing what they're doing at the basics that it immediately translates to the top. Going up to a ground up lib shouldn't be okay, we're gonna learn this new thing. They've already learned everything. It's just a matter of taking it all the way up, okay? All right, let's move on beyond that. So, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna use a push through the arms. That's the other way that a top person will climb lightly. And she's already starting to do that by going here, but she'll really do that as she goes into the next level skills. And that will be things like, I wanna do the pick up with a post, because I want them to teach them this. It's also a good way to get my bases used to holding an elevator position before you ever go to an elevator position. All right, so let me have another group, switch it out a little bit. They're gonna go to elevator prep. All right. Okay, so who is, all right, so let's see. You're gonna be my post. So I want you to go up into the front. All right. So how we're gonna do this is we're gonna start off with my front person, this is my post. She's gonna take hands, put 1 foot behind just a little bit. They don't need to be like back here. Put it back just a little bit, grab hands with the top person. As they jump off the ground, she is going to dip with them with that count, and she's going to stand up and lock her arms out all the way up. She's gonna do this so that the top person can push her weight down through the arms. So if she stands up and her arms are bent, top person's going forward. So where I spot this is I'm gonna spot it in the front, right? Remember, think about where could it go wrong, where should I spot? Okay, she bends her arms, the top person doesn't push and she bends her arms, it's gonna go forward, so that's where I'm gonna spot. All right, so, got your job? Have y'all done this before? Okay, cool. And so from here, you're just gonna go to there. She's gonna go to an elevator behind you, so don't worry about it. Okay, yeah. So your hands are gonna go there. Your feet are gonna go in the hands of your base. You're gonna jump. Have you ever had to pull yourself over a fence to go get a ball? Oh my God, what kind of life have you led? You're gonna go like this. So you're gonna jump off the ground, push down through the arms, and lift your hips up as high as you can, okay? Bases, you're gonna hold underneath the toe, and you're gonna hold on the back of the ankle. You're gonna squat down to keep your body upright. When she jumps, you're going to lift her up and go right to the prep, all right? So, if they need to understand what the prep position is and what they're holding on their feet, we'll do that before they ever do this. Like, this is how you're going to hold her shoe. Okay, so all those little things we need to walk through before, they already know how to do that, so I'm not gonna. So here we go. Ready? Push your weight through your arms, keep your feet close together as you jump. And 1, 2, down, jump, push. Good. Now stand up, your legs locked. Release hands and stand up. Good, no, stay where you are. Great. Re-grab hands. They're gonna pop you, bring your feet together, they're gonna catch you at the waist, and you're gonna lay right between them. All right, you're gonna go back to that same position you were, but don't put your foot back very much. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Now bring your hips in a little bit, thank you. And 1, 2, yep, let go, catch her at the waist. Good, cool. All right, so that is a pick up with a post. You can also pick it up and put it on the post. You can do it single base. It's a great way to get up into some of your pyramids where you need to get somebody up quickly, like to a single base. And then that person, once I'm in the single base, she's solid, I can go grab a sign or something. So especially for you smaller teams, that's a nice little thing that you can do there. Elevator does not require a spotter. Now, once you're learning it, certainly have a spotter on it. Shoulder stand on shoulders does not require a spotter. So once that post is done, they can head out. All right. But what I like about this is it starts teaching to push through the arms. It also is a good way for them to understand what the elevator position is. Okay, if you're trying to learn a prep and they haven't ever done it before, you're teaching everybody a brand new thing. By doing this, the bases will already know their part, and then the top person's learning something new. Okay, and again, not too much new because they should have all the techniques that were involved in there. Let's do that again. This time, face this way. I want you to step out. Okay. All right, take her hands, right here. You're gonna jump as hard as you can. You're gonna push your weight through your arms. You're gonna lift your hips up, and then you're basically just gonna hold right there. Okay, hands underneath the toe. Back a little bit. Cool. The key, you're not gonna hurt their hands, by the way, because as you're pushing down, they're already lifting you up, so you're not gonna stomp them. So try to stomp them, okay? Big jump, push your weight through your arms, lock them out. Ready? 1, 2, yep. Good, bring your feet closer together, hands under the heel. Don't put, you keep bringing that out, stop it. All right, stand up. Good, high V. Re-grab hands. There you go, good. They're gonna take a little dip, bring you back down, feet together. 1, 2, little dip. Okay, cool. Good job. Have you done that before? Awesome. It's a great place to put your bases up because it's all under control. And I tell you what, after your bases go up a couple times and things and they stand there, they're gonna go, I get it now, okay? Solid, don't move, okay, I got you. Do that, I don't need to go up again, I'm good, I get it, we're good. It's a great place to have your tops come base. Now, if you have such a degree that you're like concerned about the safety of it, have tops base other tops, have bases base other bases, right? So have a little stunt off, be fun, all right? Kind of liven it up a little bit. But it's a great way for different groups to understand what it feels like to be in that other position. All right, I love doing this. She's a pretty good top. Locked out, solid, didn't move, didn't cry. Great. Did great. Okay, any questions on that particular skill? All right, so let's move it along. You can have a seat now. All right, other, come back up here. Taylor, you a Taylor too?
No, I'm Libby.
Awesome. All right, so let's face front and back to the same position in the post. And we can actually take this and put it on
Gretchen.
On Gretchen. So Libby is going to go on Gretchen. And the way that they're going to do that is they're already starting holding onto the ankle and under the toe. What they're going to do is as it goes up, they're going to let go of the toe, place it on the shoulder, and then spot right there. So when it goes up, Gretchen's going to need to go up and then make sure she does this. All right. If she's here, we can't put the shoe anywhere. She's going to have to drop her shoulders down while still keeping her arms up. All right, Gretchen, do that for me. Arms up. Yep, just like that. Awesome. You're going to do the exact same thing you did before. They're going to place your feet. You're not doing anything. They're going to do your job. All right. You just stay locked out for them. They're going to put your feet on top of Gretchen, and then stand up. Here we go. Bases, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are. 1, 2. Yep. Lock the arms. Good. Straight lines. Good. When you stand up, wait until she lets go and let go one hand at a time. I didn't cover that. Cool. All right, re-grab hands one hand at a time, reach down, keep your legs straight when you do it. There you go. And step off the front. Okay, when you step off the front, do the same thing that y'all did on the way up, back up there. Keep your arms straight so that you can kind of resist that a little bit. Okay, and I see that a lot when it starts coming off the front, is it just kind of, everybody goes, okay, the stunt is done. No, the stunt's not done until we land safely and stand up. Now the stunt is done. All right, and then you kind of get in that habit, because those little bitty things are the things that cause the injuries that will make you so just crazy. Like, what happened to her? Was she doing a full up, triple twisty Lindy thingy? She was tripping off on the top. No, that's not what she was doing. She was coming off a double base thigh stand, and we just kind of came off the double base thigh stand, and that happened to roll the ankle. So you want to get in that habit of all the way down. All right, let's do that again. So as you go up.
Can they turn to the side so we can see?
Yes.
There are some chairs back here, just to make sure you don't go back to you.
All right, so as they go up, Emily? Libby, close. All right, Libby, I want you to make sure that as you go up from here, you lock those legs out all the way. Tighten up your thighs. Because you're wanting to land soft. Don't land soft, because what it does when you land soft, it moves your hips in positions that we don't want them to be in. All right, here we go. Grab hands. Keep your elbows together. Good. Ready? We're going to the shoulders. 1, 2, down, straight arms, lock the legs. Good. One hand at a time, reach up on top of the calves. Good. Awesome. All right. Good. Not yet. Tighten those thighs. There you go. All right, re-grab hands one at a time. Bend at the waist. There you go, like that. All right. Step off. Straight arms. Great. And then stand. Good. Much better. Much easier landing on that one too. All right, that's the type of thing that will keep them from having that accidental, I just have a foot this way and put too much weight on it and then rolled. Yeah, cool. Any questions on that skill? They can also take that to single base. If I need to do something where I'm going to go extension, double base, or single base extension, I can do that a bunch of different ways to get the hands. This is also one of them. So let's face that way first. And what's your name? Oh yeah, wait, let you go in front. Get up. What's your name? Cassidy. Okay, Cassidy, you're going to be my main base. Raya's going to be our spotter. So step forward just a little bit more. Good. All right, so Libby, grab hands to Gretchen. Same thing. Cassidy. All right. Libby, what you're going to do is you're going to take your right foot, put it back like this. Okay. Grab that foot right in the center. Put your finger in the back by the heel. Good. Other hand's going to go underneath the shin. Come in a little bit closer and keep your feet closer together. You don't have to squat down quite that low. They're going to get you. They're going to go up. There you go. All right. They're going to drive it up. From here, you're going to go like this. Okay. Everybody, let go so we can rest in a second. All right. So here's where I want you. Here. All right. Do you see where I am? This is an athletic stance. At this point right here, we need to start making sure that they're always in an athletic stance, not down here. A lot of times bases feel like if I'm lower, that's better. I can get underneath you and I can be more helpful. They generally do this to try to be helpful, not to make you mad, okay? So athletic stance, here. It's gonna feel odd for them because, well, I can't get as low this way as I can when I go way out here. You're right, I don't want you that low. I want you to where you're strong. There's a whole lot more strength there than out here, all right? Quick, easy trick. Have them put their feet this wide and say, jump as high as you can. Put your feet together, jump as high as you can. Oh, there's more power. Why? Because it's going down and not out. So that's where I want them, all right? From here, you're gonna drive up. So you're gonna jump off this leg. You'll drive up here first, all right? So the shin's gonna come up. Don't bring them both up because then you're in trouble. Make sure the shin comes up, drive up underneath it, get the other foot, and bring it down, all right? Keep your arms straight and locked at all times. Spot on the other side, and I'm gonna spot on this side, show where the spot is. All right, here we go. And you're gonna go into your hands. Right, hand under the shin. Good, feet a little bit closer together. Closer. more closer. There you go. Now you shouldn't have to move them when you go up. Here we go, big jump, push through the arms. 1, 2, yep, push. Not bad. And release one hand at a time, stand right there to spot. Right up there, spot. There you go. Cool. We're gonna pop off. Have y'all popped off landing through this?
Yeah, I have.
Wrap it around the wrist. Have you done this?
No.
Grab and catch her waist. She's gonna catch her wrist. So don't pop and then reach up and grab her waist. All right, ready? 1, 2. Good. Okay, cool. Sorry, I should have taught that first. Okay. So, that's not a bad first one. All right, it gets better and better and better and better as they go. Because again, I need you locking those legs out. You're still keeping them a little bit soft. All right, as soon as you go here, you gotta push and lock that leg out. Bring the other one right there, and they should be straight, holding right here. I want the base to bring it up a little bit higher, catch, and come down. The reason it didn't go high is their first time, timing. They have to work all that out about, oh, now I know where she's gonna jump and how hard and how much I need to do. She has no idea how much work she has to put into this until she does it the first time. And then she'll either realize, oh, we went too far, or oh, I need to do more, oh, as usual, I'm perfect. All right, either way, all right? Again. Now, think about that quicker jump off the ground, elbows close together. There you go, good. Good stance, all right? Under the shin. The farther up the shin you can go, the better. So bring this leg back a little bit. There you go. Even higher up. All right, you see that over there? I'll show that to you guys in a minute. Here we go. Big jump off the ground, push through the arms. 1, 2, dip, straight legs. There you go. Spot on that side. Cool. Stay tight. You got it. All right, we're gonna get that pop, catch around the waist. Ready? 1, 2, dip. Awesome. Good job. So this is that I need to get to this position quickly. This person can spot, so she can go from here and land it, and then she can let go and turn and be the spotter, but she has to be spotting immediately. She can't go like, can't do that, all right, because that skill requires a spotter. So she has to let go from there, turn and become a spotter immediately at the side. All right, so that's a 3-person way to get to here. And we might want to do that because we're going to take her up and pressure and extension it or whatever else. All right, there are a lot of ways to get to that position. We'll do a couple more in a minute. All right, cool.
So just to refresh
Yeah.
it, so the back spot needs to turn and become the side spot?
Yeah, so let's face
Okay.
this way so you guys can see the opening, and then I'll show you the spotting position on it too. Move back just a hair so you know the scene. All right, so it's the starting position, there and there, and the foot needs to be back a little bit so that she can get under the knee. If she's at the ankle, she doesn't have leverage. I want her to get almost by the knee, and then she's gonna drive it up. I'll spot over here so y'all can see it, but the spot goes like this. I'll hold on her wrist. That way if the arms bend, if something happens and she's going this way, I can grab her and keep her head from hitting the ground. All right, ready? 1, 2. Good, hold right there. Really, whoop, keep holding on. I want you to release this hand and then turn so that you're facing them. So release this hand first. Turn, nope, other way, this way, and walk to the side and let go. So that way she becomes a spotter. All right. When she pops off, I want you to grab right here under her arm. Ready? 1, 2, pop. Good. Cool. And so there's your spot for the dismount. Is right there. You don't want to be in here because they're trying to grab arms and wrists and everything. You grab here. Again, if something happens, they slip, she starts bottoming out, you're applying pressure under there. You know, like when they get in trouble and that type of thing. I never had that happen to me ever in my life. Okay, so does that help? Okay.
So if we were using that move in a competition, would she have to stay there and move?
Now,
the spot?
here's what she would have to do. Here, ideally I want her to let go as she's turning. So she lets go with this hand, turns. When I let go here, I'm now in a spotting position. Okay? I can be considered to be the spot in this hands position. Top person in hands. I can be considered to be the spotter here. I'm holding onto her hand. She's not going anywhere. Right? But once we let go, I still have to have a spotter because she's in hands. Okay, so I couldn't let go. If I'm doing this at all, I'm now a spotter who's not in position and not being attentive. And if she goes off the back, which is the concern, the reason we put the spotter on an in-hands position for single base is because if I drive the toes up at all, hips go back and she goes back and there's nothing a base can do because I'm holding her feet, I can't get to her. So we always want to make sure that somebody's at least at the side or behind. Okay. All right. Now let's go to preps. All right. So now we're going to do the third level of climbing lightly, and that is timing with their bases. So the timing with our bases means that the bases are going up as we're going up, and all of that works together. And when it does, there comes that point where she becomes weightless and it's easy to switch grips and things like that, or finish driving her all the way to the top instead of getting stuck right here. All right, so they're going to use the jump off the ground and the weight in the arms to get to that next point. She still has to jump off the ground to get into the load, still has to hold her weight in her arms so that all the weight's not on her feet. That's how she's weightless or less, she climbs lightly on the bases, is she doesn't have a lot of weight in her feet because she's holding them in her arms. That makes it easy for my bases to come up like this. If she put all her weight here and just stood, my bases couldn't even hold that position, much less come up with her, all right? So let's do a 2-foot load. Jump off the ground, both feet in, all right? So my bases, let's start with you guys before we ever do this. Bases stand up the way you're gonna hold her. Like pretend you're holding a prep right now. Is she that far apart? No, right, that's good, right there. Don't move your feet. Go to your load position. Squat down, load position. Good. Top person, load in.
1, 2.
And hold. Now, you should be holding so much weight here that they can let go of your feet. Let go of her feet. All right? Let go of her feet. Everybody let go of her feet. If she can't hold that, we have no business doing this stunt yet. All right? Come on back down to the ground. All right, so before we ever go up in a prep, you got to do that. If they can't hold their weight up, then we're doing exercises. If they can't do this, they can't go up in a prep. So I need to have them to 2 chairs, put them right here, make sure it's on a slippery surface, and hold. And if that's it, then we're doing these. They need to build up those triceps and they need to be able to hold their weight in their arms. Okay? So we'll do some of that conditioning. Sneak. From there, from that load position, the top person's going to do a short, easy stand. The bases are going to do a short, easy stand. All right, so let me come forward. So her position should be about right there. From there, I want you to stand up. Ready, go, stand. Good. See how much that is? It's a little bit. Where most of these go wrong, everybody's going really low and then coming up. And when you do that, go down lower, even lower, right there. Now stand up. That's harder. All right, so have them do that on the ground. So look, here's what you're doing. You're bending your arms, you're just squatting down, and when you do that, it's a really long way to stand up. So just do what you just did. Do this with me, stand up. Now go to here. Now stand up. Which one's easier? Obviously the second one. You don't need to do as much work as you're trying to do. Okay? You need to do a little bit of work. They need to do a little bit of work. And together, that goes up. The more you bottom out, the more work you have to put into getting standing. So let's try to stay as tall as possible. Same for the bases. That's why I want them here, not here. The lower I get, the more work I have to do, and I have to bring my feet in. If they're moving their feet when they're on the way up, they didn't start in the right position. The other thing that does is it makes sure that, especially if I have bases that are slightly different in height, they're going to make adjustments to where their feet are, right? So if they are slightly different in height, and they are slightly different in height, what are we gonna do? She'll put her feet just a little bit farther apart, but not much. She'll put her feet just a little bit closer together, but not much. If we have to adjust much more than this, I should probably move my bases around. But I can't move those two around because these two have been bases for the last 3 years together. And it's just not fair. All right? Yeah, we changed that culture from the beginning and have them learn to stunt with other people, not just theirs. Once they start getting into elite stunts and involve super high level timing, different story. I need to make sure that those bases do stay together when we're talking about elite timing skills, because we don't have as much time to put them all working with each other to master those. All right, but at the beginning, I want them moving around. So if they're much farther apart than that, I need to change my bases and tops. Sometimes that might mean going, you've always been a back spot, go base. Somebody else come back out, all right? It might be so crazy as having one of your bases become a flyer. Right? When I was at Sam Houston State, we had a girl who was amazing. Emily was an amazing back spot, and we were doing a play day, which is when we just kind of get to goof around with new stunts, see if we can come up with a different kind of pyramid, just be creative and not have a specific agenda. And when we were doing that, we started goofing around, and Emily said, "I want to go up in something. I used to fly." She was back when I was tiny. And then they're like, okay, cool. So they got a couple good bases over there, and they put her up. And in like 3 things, she was doing Liberty Hill stretches that were beautiful because she was this tall girl. So when she went up and hit a heel stretch, it was like legs for days. It was gorgeous. She ended up flying for us in a couple of things in a routine because we found out that she could do it. So stay open-minded to those things. So let's go back to her prep. So here we go. We're going to go load.
1, 2.
Stay tall. Good. And take it up the shoulders. Ready? 1, 2, down, up. Good. Lock those. All right. Bring your foot back from where it is underneath them a little bit. Yeah, you go. All right. Bump back down.
1, 2.
Good. Cool. All right, come down. Okay. So I want to do a couple things. They're doing really good. I want to tighten things up when they land and when they come down. Because right now they're going, and I want it to be from here, tight, freeze. And when they bump down, I want it to be here, freeze, every time. And we practice it that way, and that just becomes the habit, right? Let's do it again. This time when you take your first dip from the load, don't go up and down. I just want you to go kind of like a bottom out type of thing. So go 1, 2. Does that make sense? Or just a quick, oh, yeah.
1, 2.
Here we go. Quick bump. 1, 2, bump, up. Good. There you go. Much better. We're moving. All right, bump down. Don't move when you hit the bottom. 1, 2, bump, freeze. Good. Cool. All right, so every time I want them to practice that. The same thing, even coming down. Dropper, stand. Okay, we just get used to that as a habit. All right, you're taking a jump off the ground, and I want to get rid of that. All right, let's move forward a little bit. Through this man. All right, what's going on? Morton's in there, yeah. Explains everything. It's Morton and Jumanji is happening. All right, hands on the shoulders. This time when you go down, move forward a little bit so she's not on the seam, because I know the people are around the seams. All right. This time when you go down, I want you to just go from here and go 1, 2, down. Don't leave the ground. Ready? 1, 2, down. Good. All right, come back down. A little bit harder, right? You gotta jump a little bit more and use a little bit more of your arms. What this does, it takes away our off counts when I have 3 of them going at the same time. So you just go from here down. Right, one of the things we did when I was in Kentucky a million years ago, we did our stunt circle like I was explaining. We had our tops moved to the side, bases go this way, and we switched them all up doing basic stuff. And we decided we wanted to just see if we could make a chair, which is a very basic stunt for co-ed college, perfect, literally perfect. We did this at camp. So we're at East 10 camp, and we've got all the great colleges that are there. And our sideline ended with step, dip, chair. What we decided to do was every guy's going to step left foot. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Not just go up there to whatever. You're going to step on the same count. Your hands will be at your side. When you step with your other foot, you'll grab. They'll dip. when the girls dip, it's not gonna be like this, it's gonna be straight down. And what we did is we took out every little thing that was different, and we wanted to make it look like there was one cheerleader and one stunt group and a house of mirrors. And it was awesome. And at one sideline at camp, doing chairs, and people were like, they were mad. They're like, seriously? They won with chairs? Like, did you watch that? Did you see it? No. The coach was like, it was perfect. It was literally perfect. It was so cool. I wish it was on Instagram right now. To be on Instagram, we would have had a lot of postage stamps at the time. So that's what we want to do with this. I want to take out the jumping up and down and the movement. And that's why I want to take out even the little bit of movement here. I want it so that everything freezes, so that everybody looks exactly the same. So when an official, especially from a judging standpoint, watches this, I don't want them to go like that, right? I don't want anything to draw their eye to one particular group. That means somebody's doing something differently. Okay, all right, here we go, again. And then after this one, we're gonna go to load again, and then we'll do it all together. So just straight down, land. 1, 2, dip, good. All right, quick dip, 1, 2, dip. Good, much better. Good job, straight legs. All right, now from here, one of the things we're gonna look at is making sure that the top people have their feet closer together, like this. That's about as far apart as I want them. If her feet go out, push them out. Good. You'll see this when you're doing your elevators. If her feet go out, it's her responsibility to pull them together. All right? And you can even have them do this. Make sure you have your spotter there, spotter here, and tell them, push them apart. And she can push them apart. I'm like, what are you doing? All right, you gotta stay right there and pull them together. You have control over that. Yep. All right, bump down, stay tight when you land. Your count.
1, 2.
Good. Still a little up in there. We're gonna fix that. Okay, come down. As it lands, stop it before it gets to the bottom. Y'all are letting it hit here, and then it rebounds a little bit. So I want you to, and don't move. Okay. All right. So let's talk about a couple of things that go wrong in the prep. All right, let's do one first all the way without stopping in the bottom. Load in, go to the prep. Ready? 1, 2, dip, in, tight. Good. It's still going a little slow for me. All right, pop back down.
1, 2.
Tight, boom. Better, good, okay. Come down. All right, so what you're gonna see go wrong in this, so many things. Top people are gonna go up and they're gonna have their feet apart. Bases are gonna grab those feet and they're gonna pull them to their stomachs. When that happens and you have knees here and ankles there, bad things, because they're gonna be pushing them apart. The bases can't be underneath and get that leverage because they're in a position where when it goes up, they're gonna get pushed out. All right, so let's go ahead and load into that position. Load in and stop. Feet apart, grab her foot and bring them to your stomach. Feet apart. Yeah, like they'll land right there. And that's just nothing good's gonna happen from this. Okay? So they need to bring their feet closer together, hands on the shoulders, keep their weight in the arms, or keep their weight on the shoulders. Fix this first. All right, come back down to the ground. So they shouldn't be doing that because they should have done these drills over and over. All right, a lot of times they do that because they haven't done this, and they haven't done this a lot. So do this until it's perfect. All right. Once they start doing things in sequence, they start losing a little bit of that. So we're going to pull them back in. But if it's really bad, that means we haven't done the drills enough and done them the right way. All right. The other is bottoming out. So this time go in and go all the way down. You guys go down low. We're not going to stop at the bottom. Load and go prep. Ready? 1, 2. Down low. Yeah, there you go. Does that look more familiar? Okay, again, they're really good, so they get away with that technique. Kids are just learning this, not going to hit that. Okay, good. Pump down.
1, 2.
Good. Okay. All right. So when they go and they bottom out all the way like that, again, their hips are off the back. They can't keep their feet underneath, so they get pulled out. It's so slow going up. And when it's slow going up, there's so many things that can go wrong. I want to get from here to here as fast as possible, because the faster I get from there to there, the fewer opportunities I have for a mistake to happen. All right? So load it back in the right way, and we'll be done with that. We're going to go to single foot. All right, so stay tall. This time here's what I want you to do. I want you to go from here, dip, hit, land, quick. So this is boom, not like that. All right. Ready? 1, 2, dip, and hit, and land. Not bad, better. See how quick that was? That was great. And you can see that came up and it came down. All right, good. Going back down.
1, 2.
All right, so before we move on to single foot stuff, any questions about what your teams are doing with preps that you haven't seen fixed? All right, I can't stress enough. It's drill, drill, drill. Drill, baby,
A lot
drill.
of times the flyer sits, so it's not her arms that are bent, but her ankles are straight covered by her butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So if she can straighten her arms, and depending on the bases, if the bases hold her feet up, she can be in a full squat position here. So again, we go back to, I want you tall. I want you as tall as possible. So go ahead and load in and stop. And bases grab her feet and push her feet up a little bit, like that. Straighten your arms. So if they do that, and I've even seen people try to, like, I don't know where this came from, loading and prep by putting the feet on the shoulders and then standing up. Don't do that. But same thing. So here, bases bring her down. I want her tall. All right, straight up tall. I want her tall. Their hands should be no lower than the waist. I want it probably more like where a belly button is. Okay, good. All right, bump down. Okay. All right, yes.
What about those bases that insist that they have to step back to bring them?
They're wrong.
How do you break the habit? They will not listen
Yeah.
to you.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the things I do is I tell them I want you starting in your ending position. Take her out. Go to your load like she's loading in. Yep, like she's loading in. Squat down. Whoop, she's loading in. Stop. And from there, keep your head up so you don't bump each other. Now stand straight up to prep. Stand up like you got her in hands. Good. I want to just do that by itself. Take the top person out or take the bases out when you can and have them do this and say, look, this is where you need to be because this is where you're strongest. In fact, side please. Go into load position again. All right. Now, dip and step back as you go up with one of your feet. Ready? 1, 2, dip. Look what happened to her. All right. So they can now start to see, instead of worrying about her falling, look what you're doing with her feet when you do that. You're moving them apart, you're moving them back in. And what we want to do, and they need to understand the technique that you're trying to teach. What we want to do is we want to get from this point to that point as quickly as possible with y'all directly underneath her is where your strength is. So I'm teaching them their technique, not just saying do this because I said so type of stuff. Okay? So I think breaking it out and taking the top person out can help them see what they're doing. Because when I've got somebody here, I don't see what she's doing. I don't see what's happening to her. I just feel this feels comfortable for me. And they'll realize, oh wow, if we both do that, she's back to here. Now what's she gonna do when she gets there? She's gonna push you apart. So now it's harder to get back in. So just do this over and over. Put your hands in there, bring them up. Do that again. Put your hands in there, bring them up. And that's a good way for them to get used to not moving their feet when they're doing stuff too. Just go to here, stand it up. They need to get the feel for that because they have a muscle memory of doing what they're doing right now, right? That has become a habit because we've allowed it to be a habit. So they need to break that habit by doing the right thing enough times that they start to go like, okay, that starts to feel more comfortable the more times I do it. Okay, I think that'll help. All right, now we're gonna go 1 foot. 1 foot load to prep, not 1 foot to 2 foot to prep, 1 foot to prep. All right, so this is gonna be a walk-in. This is the same thing as that side thigh stand that goes over to a double base thigh stand. It's the exact same motion, so they will have already done that. If she starts having issues doing this, we may go back to just doing that double base thigh stand so she understands, okay, that's what I'm doing. All right, so we're gonna start with top person, bring your foot up to this base. That base is gonna hold underneath the toe and the heel. In most cases, she's gonna have enough room in the center that my other base can hold underneath the foot, all right? The other hand is a matter of contention, cheerleading wide. Where do I put this hand? I don't care. However, there are places where it's better. Ideally for me, I want it under the wrist of the other person because eventually we're going to go to libs with this and the wrist, I already want to have that grip. Some people don't like that you're holding my wrist. So you can go underneath the toe, go up, let go, but eventually you're gonna have to go, let go and grab the wrist. That's fine. If that works for you, that's fine. There are so many things you can do that if that works for you, that's fine. All right? The only thing that I wouldn't have them do is what they're doing, which is putting the hand on top of the foot, because it doesn't benefit. This used to be an old Liberty grip, right? I mean, back person with the side base would do this, which we're like, okay, so if I'm holding the top of your foot, then I can't straighten this arm out unless I have a 6-inch longer arm on my left, or I twist your foot. So we don't want to hold the lib like this. This base on a Liberty will either be underneath something else or grabbing the wrist, all right, so that we can lock both of these out. So that's where I'd like her to be to begin with, so that we don't have different grips for different skills in the middle of a routine. So like, oh, this one is we're going to go into prep, so I'm going to hold like that. This one we're going to go to lib, so I'm going to hold like this. Just use the same grip. For me, it just feels better. There are some people who teach to hold from underneath both, and then let go and then re-grab. Again, if that works for you, that's fine. So what I prefer is back hand in the center, front hand grabs the wrist. We're going to go up, drive it to here, let it go, catch the other foot, and bring it down. All right. For this base, she's got hands here and here, and it's going to go up. When it becomes weightless, she turns the hands and brings it down. All right. My back spot is going to hold on the ankle and under the seat. She's going to drive the hips up. That's the most important thing for this, is that she jumps off the ground and the back spot drives the hips up so that she can get up on top of these bases, because she's doing that same side thigh stand, but higher. So she needs to get her hips up even quicker. All right. When she does that, she's going to go from here to here. All right. Don't give her your foot. Go straight up, hold your weight up, hold your hips up, hold your shoulders up, and then you'll basically slowly shift over when they grab you. All right, here we go. Cool. Now, bases. Your feet where they need to be. Good. All right, here we go. Ready? And 1, 2, here we go. Good. Awesome. Take it back down to the same position. So we're going to bump and go to a 1-foot tap. So everybody go to the exact same position you just went to, nice and slow and controlled. Ready? 1, 2, dip, and tap. Good. Just like that. All right. Awesome. That's very nice. Okay. She did a great job of going up and then bringing her weight over. That's usually where these go wrong, is because they go like this. They go, and they try to step over, kicks them out before it even gets up to my prep level, kicks me in the chest or even kicks me in the face. All right, so they need to get used to doing that. Again, it goes back to that same technique that they already did on the double base thigh stand. It's exactly the same thing, just goes higher. All right, once again, make sure my bases come back to the center a little bit. Bases, make sure that you don't have your feet too wide. I think you are a little bit wide. And then same thing, back spot. Once you don't get way out here, I want you to be in where you can basically stand straight up too. All right. So after they've done it, or you can even have somebody else film it for you while you're spotting, video this. Just video their feet. Because we never watch them, right? Because we're doing this. Video their feet. Go back and watch it and show them. Because I don't want a dance number happening under here. All right. I want it to be boom. Doesn't move. So even if my base is out here and then it goes up and then she steps over, that's a movement. I want it to where when they stand up exactly in the right spot. So that means my base might be 1 foot in front here, so that when it goes up, my other foot steps over and I'm in my position. All right. And they should just get used to that, again, without the top version if you need to, and then do it with. All right, so do that again. They did a great job of taking it up, catching, and coming down. That's the next part of all of these. Good, ready? 1, 2, dip. Really good. Do your best not to ever move that foot. See, look where your foot is. You feel it?
Yeah.
What in the world? Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right, back down, tap down. 1, 2, dip. And slow, 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 slow. Good. I want them coming down that way. The first time they do this, they're gonna come down fast, right? And she's gonna like try to get down, and they're holding her foot, and she falls off the back, and the back spot grabs her and catches her and brings her back down. So I want them to get used to coming down that slow, controlled. That means she keeps her weight on this foot, keeps her weight on the foot, keeps her weight on the foot, keeps her weight on the foot, and then taps down. All right, so that they get used to that. That then becomes, now it's a transition. We've got a transition already built into something that we want to do. Okay, any questions on the 1 foot load? Cool. Once you learn to do a 1 foot load with prep, I know for a lot of coaches and teams are like, well, let's just do that. Because what did I do before? I either jumped in, put my feet in, went up, or I put my foot in, put my other foot in, went up, as opposed to putting my foot in and now I'm up. I just saved counts, right? And it's clean and it's fast. If coaches or officials don't really expect it. When you go in here, and we're already up. The other nice thing is she can use a sign to do this too, all right? So once they have it, and they're pretty good, I want you to walk in, dip, and go. Pretend you have a sign. Yep, you're gonna take left foot, skip, right foot, up. All right? Right there. Ready? So your drive becomes more important now because she doesn't have the push off of her arms. All right, this one. All right, here we go. Ready? Skip and skip. There you go. Yeah, it's a little bit, some of that in there. All right, same thing, tap down with your sign in your hand over your head so you don't hit them. Ready? 1, 2, dip, tap down, slow, slow, slow. Good. Very good. Good job. Okay. Yeah. They were like, okay, that's different. Yes, it is. She's not. You're not helping like you used to. You're right. She's not. So it takes a quicker jump, more drive off the bat. Now the interesting thing, once you start doing these, guess what happens when you put your hands on? I like doing these before doing libs. Okay, I like doing these, no hand to prep, before doing lib, because it forces them to do more than they were doing before. And now when you add the push off of my hands, she really gets up quick for the lib.
Can they do it from a different direction?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. Drop it. There you go. Good. Cool. Drop back down same way with the sign. 1, 2, good. Notice how high she reaches. Okay, back spot reaches up, catches, controls, and comes down. The bases do a great job of making sure her foot is in proportion to where her body is. If they hold her foot up too high and she's still trying to step down, she's gonna come off the bat. If they bring it down too fast, then she's gonna come down and hit her ankle too fast. So they're doing a great job of kind of watching each other and controlling it, nice and easy, but they're strong coming back down to the ground. This is where your conditioning stuff comes in. You don't just get to walk in off the street and be strong enough to be a cheerleader. All right, they have to do conditioning because this is not a timing skill. This is now a strength skill, right? Timing going up, but on the way down, we have to slow and control and control and control. And a lot of our transition stuff, it's timing and then it becomes strength in order to get it back up. So it's really important to have both of those. Okay, did that help? Any questions on the walk-in? Spend time in the walk-in because that's your ground up lib. All right, we usually too quickly try to go up to ground up liberty. Work on this, work on this, work on this. All right, now we're ground up lib. Actually, I'll take it back. Let's do that same thing except this time switch bases. All right, and you can use hands on this one. So, load in, 1 foot. Good. Hold her wrist or underneath the toe, right there. Either one. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. You can't let go of her foot. Her brain just says never let go of a foot, right? Good. All right, bump back down to the same position. 1, 2. Good. Grab the foot same way. Cool. Awesome. All right. So you see where I'm spotting? I'm spotting on the away side of the foot that's on the ground because when things usually go wrong, they fall over here. All right. I'm spotting a lot underneath the arm. But that's a great place for me to catch without getting interfering with what they're doing. I want them to be able to catch, and I certainly don't want to reach in and grab, and now my back spot can't get in, things like that. All right, cool. Do that again, this time like that. Yeah. All right, so you're going to drive and get this foot. Let go of that foot. Okay, there we go. Ready? 1, 2. Drive, catch. Good. Nice job. All right, bump back down, same position. 1, 2. Good. That's a big bump. Good. Okay. One thing I noticed on this too, this comes from just habits. It's really funny to be able to see this. When she went to go catch the foot, she didn't go grab it up here, did she? She kind of waited for it down here. Because that's what she's not used to having to find a foot. She's used to having the foot. I got the foot. Why in the world would I ever let go of the foot? All right, so it's exactly, she's doing exactly what she has been trained to do. And again, it's good at this level, mix them up. You might find out that, you know, the person that has been doing it in one position is actually better in a different position. They just never had a chance. Or they like something better and they didn't realize that they would. Again, I would do the same with my back spot. For these types of things, move them around a little bit, okay? All right, let's go ground up lid. Y'all can switch back if you want to. All right, so ground up lid. Your count.
1, 2.
All right. You want to cradle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cradle, 1, 2.
Okay. I don't know if you realize that you're doing it, but you're taking this foot and going that way.
Yeah.
Every time.
I knew.
Okay. So I don't have to film you on it. All right, let's do that again. This time, bring your feet closer together. Keep them planted. Focus on doing that. All right, go ahead, go Lynn. Don't even move them as she's going up. Like a Marenka dancer.
1, 2.
Freeze it. Good. So if you're not in the right position right now, that means you didn't start in the right position. Okay, good.
Cradle, 1, 2.
Cool. You're going a little bit more cushion when you're there. A little tight. Okay. So the next thing I want to fix, this is like a scourge on cheerleading, is this lowering of the bases, right? Like both of them are trying to decide which one of them are going to be lower. And I see it all the time, even with instructors, with staff. And I don't know where it came from. Maybe that they're just used to stunning with shorter people, so they're always going down, and both of them are used to stunning with shorter people, so they both decide to keep going down, but they do that. So make sure that when you guys come from here, I want you to go like that. Don't move your feet. Stand up tall. This should hit not like this, but it should hit like this. And freeze, okay? Hit the top, make it solid, squeeze your foot, keep your feet together, or keep your feet planted where they are. Awesome. So your foot should start probably right there. No, I'm sorry. Not yours, Cass.
Yeah.
Okay. Yours. Your foot right there. Cool. All right, here we go. Ground up lib. Hit the top, everybody standing extended as tall as you can. Ready? 1, 2. Tall. Much better. Stand up all the way, stand up all the way. There you go. Cool. Cradle.
1, 2.
Great. Good. It just looks prettier when everybody's tall. Everything should look like this, not like this, and not like this, right? Everything's straight up and down tall. Like in some cases, I can't even tell if that's a single base or double base, because everything is straight up and down. All right. Very good. All right. Anything specific that you want to see with what we've already done, or questions? Grips.
Back spot took a major beating this year with nose, and is that pretty much the flyer? Oh, bloody nose after bloody nose after bloody nose. And so, is that the flyer
Probably, but
not scraping?
it just depends on where they're coming down. Like, when are they getting a bloody nose on? Just like cradles, or just falling from things?
Anything. I mean, the
Okay.
flyer would be like.
Is it elbows?
No, not bases, it was the
Is it-
flyer.
Alright.
like butt,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
backwards.
Alright, so what it sounds like is, it sounds like the top person's trying to get down to the ground.
Because my back spot would actually help my flyer with her tush, and I'm like, stop, she's got to get up.
Yeah.
Needed to get, and I don't know if that's just the